Society has a label for you. Too sensitive. Too emotional. You need thicker skin. If you cry easily, you've heard it all. You're weak. You're overdramatic. You need to toughen up. Get control of yourself. Stop being so fragile. Your parents probably said it. Your teachers. Your friends. Maybe even your partner. Why are you crying about this? It's not that serious. And you've spent years wondering if they're right. If something's actually wrong with you. If you need to fix yourself. Here's the truth they never told you. You're not broken. Your brain is literally wired different. And that difference? It's not a weakness. It's a psychological advantage most people will never have. But nobody talks about that. Because society doesn't understand the psychology of people who cry easily. They just judge it, label it, try to shame it out of you. Today, I'm breaking down the real science. The actual psychology. The truth about why some people cry easily, and why that's actually a strength, not a problem. If you've ever been told you're too emotional, this is going to change everything. Because you're about to learn what's really happening in your brain. And why the people calling you weak are the ones who are actually missing something. Let's get into it. First, let's destroy the biggest lie. Crying easily is not a disorder. It's not immaturity. It's not something you need to cure. It's a psychological trait, a neurological difference. It's how some brains are built. And here's what's wild. The research shows that people who cry easily have psychological characteristics that most people don't have. Characteristics that are actually advantageous. But society doesn't reward emotional expression. It rewards emotional suppression. So you've been taught to see your crying as a problem. It's not. I'm going to show you 3 psychological reasons why you cry easily. The real neuroscience. And then you'll understand why you're not too sensitive. You're just operating on a level most people can't access. Reason number 1. You have high emotional empathy, the mirror brain. First reason you cry easily. Your mirror neurons are hyperactive. And that's not a malfunction. That's a feature. Here's what's happening. When you see someone experiencing emotion, your brain doesn't just observe it. Your brain recreates it. Inside you. It's called emotional mirroring. Your mirror neurons fire and simulate the exact emotional state you're witnessing. Most people have a filter. They can watch someone cry and stay emotionally neutral. They understand intellectually that the person is sad, but they don't feel it. You don't have that filter. Or it's much weaker. When someone cries, your brain mirrors their sadness. When someone's overwhelmed with joy, your brain mirrors that joy. When you see suffering, your brain creates that suffering inside you. You're not watching emotion. You're experiencing it. Neurologically. In real time. That's why you cry at movies. At commercials. At stories. At moments other people barely notice. Your brain is processing those emotions as if they're happening to you. And society calls this too sensitive. But that's wrong. This is high emotional empathy. And it's rare. Here's the advantage. You understand people at a level most people can't. You don't have to guess how someone feels. You know. Because your brain literally simulates their emotional state. That makes you incredibly good at connection. At support. At knowing what people need before they say it. While everyone else is analyzing emotions from the outside, you're experiencing them from the inside. That's not weakness. That's emotional intelligence on a neurological level. You cry because you feel what others feel. And that ability to deeply understand human emotion, that's a superpower most people don't have. Stop apologizing for it. Reason number 2. You process emotions at maximum depth, no surface level processing. Second reason. Your emotional processing system runs deeper than most people's. Way deeper. Here's how most people process emotion. Something happens. They feel something. They acknowledge it. They move on. Surface level. Quick. Shallow. You don't work that way. When you feel something, you don't skim it. You experience every layer, every nuance, every connected memory, every implication. When you're sad, you don't just feel sad. You feel the weight of that sadness, the complexity, the history behind it, what it means, what it connects to, the full depth of that emotional experience. When something beautiful happens, you don't think that's nice. You feel the magnitude of that beauty, the significance, the miracle that this moment exists, the full emotional spectrum of that experience. Your emotional processor doesn't have a shallow setting. It only has one mode, deep. And deep processing creates intense emotional responses, which means tears. Think about it. When you process emotions at maximum depth, your body has to release that intensity somehow. Tears are the release valve. Society sees this and thinks you're overreacting. But you're not. You're just experiencing the full depth of what they're only touching the surface of. Here's the advantage. Deep emotional processing creates deep understanding of yourself, of life, of what actually matters. You understand loss at a level that makes you appreciate presence more. You feel pain deeply, which means you recognize and value joy when it appears. You process love at depths that create richer, more meaningful connections. While most people rush through life on emotional autopilot, barely feeling anything, you're actually experiencing being human at full capacity. Your joy is richer. Your love is deeper. Your gratitude is more profound. Your life has emotional color most people never access. You cry because you feel everything at maximum depth. And that depth is what makes your life real. What makes your experiences meaningful? What makes you truly alive? That's not a problem. That's the opposite of a problem. Reason number 3. You refuse to suppress your authentic self, the honest one. Third reason, and this is the most important one. You have low emotional suppression. Here's what that means. From childhood, society teaches emotional suppression. Don't cry in public. Keep it together. Be professional. Don't show weakness. Control yourself. Most people internalize that programming. They build emotional walls. Thick ones. They learn to push feelings down, lock them away, pretend they don't exist. They become experts at suppression, at hiding what they actually feel, at performing fine, even when they're not. But you? Either you never built those walls, or you consciously tore them down, or your walls are just naturally thinner. When you feel something, it shows. Immediately. Authentically. Without filter. And society punishes this. They call you dramatic. Tell you to calm down. Make you feel like your authenticity is inappropriate. But here's what they're not telling you. Emotional suppression has devastating costs. Chronic suppression leads to anxiety disorders, depression, physical health problems, cardiovascular issues, weakened immune system, disconnection from yourself and everyone around you. The people who never cry and pride themselves on emotional control, research shows they're more likely to be depressed, anxious, and disconnected from their own lives. They might look strong on the outside, but on the inside, they're numb, detached, going through life without actually feeling it. You didn't choose that path. You stayed connected to your emotions. You remained authentic. And that authenticity shows up as tears. Here's the advantage. You're real. People know exactly where they stand with you. You don't play emotional games. You don't fake feelings. What you feel is genuine, and it shows. That makes you trustworthy. That makes your relationships deeper and more honest. That makes your life authentic instead of performed. You're not failing at emotional control. You're succeeding at emotional honesty. And in a world full of people suppressing everything, pretending to be fine, performing strength they don't feel, your authenticity is radical. Your tears are proof you're connected to yourself. Proof you're living honestly. Proof you refuse to perform fake strength. That's not weakness. That's courage. So here's the truth. If you cry easily, you're not too sensitive. You're not too emotional. You're not weak. You're not broken. You have hyperactive mirror neurons that create deep empathy. You process emotions at maximum depth. You refuse to suppress your authentic self. Those aren't flaws. Those are psychological strengths. Stop apologizing for your tears. Stop hiding them. Stop feeling ashamed of being real. Your crying means you're feeling life fully, connecting with people authentically, experiencing being human at a depth most people avoid. Society calls you weak because they don't understand neuroscience. They don't understand that your tears are evidence of emotional intelligence, not emotional failure. So next time someone tells you you're too emotional, remember this. You're not too emotional. You're appropriately emotional for someone who actually feels things. They're not stronger than you. They're just more disconnected from themselves. You're not broken. You're awake. You're real. You're human at full capacity. And the world desperately needs people like you. People who feel. People who connect. People who cry when something actually matters. Own your tears. They're proof you're living, not just existing. Drop a comment and tell me, what's something you cry about that other people don't understand? Let's normalize being human. Let's normalize feeling deeply. Because your sensitivity isn't your weakness. It's your superpower. Now stop apologizing for being real. You're exactly who you're supposed to be. So be confident, enjoy your life, and continue watching Clever Minds.